Head ajakirjanikud, alustame pressikonverentsiga, mis on ajendatud Eesti ja Läti peaministri tänasest kohtumisest. Teie ees on Eesti peaminister Jüri Ratas ja Läti peaminister Krišjānis Kariņši. Alustuseks sõna Eesti peaministrile Jüri Ratasele.
Glad to welcome you all here, the press conference after the meeting of the Estonian Prime Minister and the Latvian Prime Minister. So I would like to give the floor first to the Estonian Prime Minister, Mr. Jüri Ratase, and afterwards to Mr. Krišjānis Kariņši of Latvia.
Wonderful pronunciation.
Thank you.
Excellent.
I practiced.
Dear Krišjānis, honorable journalist, I am so happy that we meet today here in Stenbocki house. I said that to my very good and close colleague that Latvia and Latvians, they are the closest neighbor for us and they are very important country for us. I'm really happy that we have very strong relations, bilateral relations between Estonia and Latvia. We talked today quite a lot important aspects and points. For example, we talk about bilateral relations, and I'm really happy that they are really close. We are very strong ties. For example, the Rail Baltica, or if we are talking the synchronization of our electricity market. Of course, to keep this unity and close relations between the Baltic countries and between the Latvia and Estonia, if we are talking the European Union or NATO, it is so important. We talk also about the Brexit situation, and both of us, I mean the Latvia and Estonia, we prefer that we will have the Brexit with deal, and I really hope that we could find this situation between the 27 countries and the United Kingdom that we will have the deal. Then maybe some words also in my mother tongue, in Estonian as well. Meil oli täna väga suurepärane kohtumine Läti ametikaaslase Krišjānisega. Mul on väga suur au ja ma olen väga tänulik, et tema esimene välisvisiit peaministrina leidis just aset siia Eestisse.
So I'm very glad that we had a very constructive meeting with my Latvian colleague, with Krišjānis, and I'm very glad that this is also his first foreign visit, and it is here in Tallinn in Estonia.
Me rääkisime täna väga palju nendest kahepoolsetest suhetest, mis tõesti on väga lähedased Läti ja Eesti vahel, kus me oleme teinud minu meelest väga head tööd ja hoidnud seda ühtsust.
I'm very glad that we have very good bilateral relations between Estonia and Latvia. Our countries are very close, and we've done a great job to keep our unity.
Kindlasti on selleks üheks heaks näiteks ka see, et Läti president külastab sellel aasta aprillis Eestit.
And one of the good examples certainly is the fact that the Latvian president is going to visit Estonia this year in April.
Kuid kindlasti me peame edasi minema nende suurte investeeringuprojektidega, mis meil täna on, olgu selleks Rail Baltica või olgu selleks elektrituru sünkroniseerimine.
But we need to move on with the large-scale projects as well, which we have happening, such as Rail Baltica or the synchronization of our electricity systems.
Ma arvan, et nende mõlema projekti puhul on hästi oluline hoida ka seda Balti koostööd Leedu, Läti ja Eesti vahel.
And I believe for both of these projects it's very important to keep the Baltic cooperation going between Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania.
Me rääkisime täna ka sellest, et kaks riiki, nii Läti kui Eesti, võiksid astuda kiiremaid samme digitaliseerimise osas ja just üle riigi piiriliselt.
And one of the aspects we discussed today is that both countries, Latvia and Estonia, should take further steps in order to achieve cross-border digitalization. Ja leida selliseid ühiseid e-teenuseid kahe riigi vahel, mis on olulised meie elanikele, mis on olulised meie ettevõtetele. And to find this common ground on e-services across the border, which will be important for our businesses and also for our citizens.
Loomulikult me arutasime ka Brexiti teemadel.
We also discussed the topic of Brexit, of course.
Ja kindlasti me mõlemad näeme seda, et Suurbritannia lahkumine Euroopa Liidust on meie jaoks oluline, et see toimuks leppega.
And for both of us, it is important that the withdrawal of the UK from the EU would take place with a deal.
Meie tugevad suhted ja aktiivne panustamine NATO liikmelisusse on hästi tähtis ja mul on väga hea meel, et 3 Balti riiki sel aastal panustavad sinna vähemalt 2%.
Strong relations and also contributions to NATO would be also very important, and I'm glad that all the 3 Baltic countries are contributing at least 2% of the GDP.
Ma soovin oma ametikaaslasele tema teekonna algusest peaministrina palju jõudu, palju edu Läti uuele valitsusele ja kindlasti palju edu Läti inimestele.
And would like to wish my dear colleague all the best as he's beginning his journey as a Prime Minister, and also would like to wish good luck to the government and of course to the citizens of Latvia.
Krišjānis, please. The floor is yours.
Aitäh. Tere. That's the extent of my Estonian. I am here in the Stenbocki maja. Until today, I only knew of Kauba maja. So I'm expanding my vocabulary. I hope over the coming months and years I'll learn more and more. Jüri, thank you very much. A very pleasant, warm and welcome. This is my first visit as head of our government, symbolically and importantly to Estonia. The relationship between our two countries is a relationship that goes back to the 1300s. We have a long shared common history. We have been through some tough times. We have been through some great times. And I think in the coming years, things will be going only better. And it's very important that at all levels, we continue our wonderful cooperation. Of course, at the governmental level, but also among our companies, among our tourists going from country to country. The more we exchange, the richer both of us will be. So thank you, Jüri, very much. We talked indeed about a number of issues that are very close to both of our hearts. For example, RB Rail, the need for us to work also at the council level on the next MFF to secure the financing to make sure that this project works through. On the synchronization with the rest of Europe and the need to do this and to make sure we do it in a safe and a reliable way so that the lights are always on for all of our citizens in both of our countries. We talked about the importance of our common work in the EU, especially with the, shall we say, the challenge of Brexit. No one really knows, unfortunately, how that's going to end. But what's important is, regardless of what the Brits in the end decide to do and how to do it, that we maintain, as Baltic countries, very close and strong ties with the United Kingdom. They are an extremely strong and important strategic partner for us, not only the US, but in Europe, also the UK. Inside or outside of the EU, we would, of course, prefer that they remain in the EU, but that's a British, not a Baltic decision. We have then within the EU, I have to say, if I had a hat on, I would, tip my hat to Jüri and the Estonians. You are really advanced. You have a great voice regarding digitalization. I was in the government meeting room. There was no paper on the table. It was quite nice and impressive. I have to say our government tables also are all through the digital medium. But moving this agenda into Europe on, we talk about, we have so many unions in Europe, right? We have a banking union and this union and that union. Actually, everyone forgets it's really a European Union. But also in the single market, there's a single market, the digital single market. Well, we need to make sure it's one digitized single market. And this is where I think your country is taking a great lead. You have a fantastic commissioner working in the European Commission who's really spearheading it also from the Commission side. And we talked about projects both of us are interested in as practical and as tangible as possible, more and better cross-border cooperation. I think there's lots of room, lots of possibilities. So I'm very much looking forward to starting up. This is, for me, 2 weeks and 1 day on the job, so rather new. And I know that Jüri is now, you're going to have a great contest of political ideas in just a few weeks' time. From the Latvian side, we wish everyone well. But I am certain that regardless, our relationship will continue very strong as it has been for the past 600 or 700 years.
Öelge palun oma nimi, väljaanne ja ka see, kellele küsimus on suunatud ja küsime läbi mikrofoni.
So now is the possibility for you to ask questions. Please use the microphone and please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Peaminister Jüri Ratase from Channel 3, and I have a question for you, Latvian Prime Minister.
Yes.
How do you feel about the fact that Estonians are spending a lot in Latvia, leaving a lot of money, as in alcohol, and the other goods. What do you think about it?
You're asking a prime minister who just passed the budget framework this morning before flying to Tallinn, who can be unhappy about people visiting. Why they visit? Well, maybe alcohol isn't on any politician's idea of what the best reason to visit is. But look, our countries have fantastic cooperation, and maybe sometimes there are certain tax advantages that change this way. This is fluid. Over time, it hasn't always been that way. I understand that many Estonians at least know one word in Latvian, saldējums. Latvians also coming to Estonia, investing in Estonia. We have a number of companies that have had some major investments. We are very interested in increasing that footprint here, and we welcome any and all Estonian investment into Latvia, whether it's for someone coming for an afternoon, for someone coming for a week-long trip, or for a company seriously thinking about investing and helping to create more jobs.
I have a question. Heile Sillamaa from Channel 2.
Channel 2, Channel 3, Channel 2. Okay.
Exactly.
Waiting for Channel 1.
And a lot of Estonians are visiting Latvia because of the new store IKEA. Have you been there already?
Yes, I've been there, and it's actually, it's I suppose, sad for Vilnius, because I used to drive to Vilnius to go to the IKEA. Now it's in Riga, and when I've been in Vilnius, you hear lots of Latvians. Now in Riga, I hear lots of Estonians. But we have many reasons, I think, traveling between our countries. Personally, for years, with my wife and children, we've been coming to Tallinn, trying to come at least once a year. I think it's a beautiful city. It's beautiful in the winter. It's, of course, lovely in the summer. But I've often come in the wintertime, and I'm very happy today that from the Stenbocki majas, I was able to go with the Prime Minister onto the lovely balcony and see where I used to stand as a tourist. And now I always wondered who is up in that balcony, and now I know. So it's a beautiful city to visit. I encourage my countrymen to come to visit Tallinn. I encourage the Estonians to come more often to Riga. The more, the merrier.
As the first Baltic channel, News of Estonia, and sorry, Mr. Ratase, my question is also to your Latvian colleague.
About the restaurant Lido or...
Actually, so finally, Latvia, you have a government.
Yes.
You have a prime minister. So situation politically in Latvia, was it kind of internal political crisis which is now over, or what do you think about it? Anyway, we are interested what's happening in our neighbors.
Yes, we had a slight difficulty forming a government. For us, I think it was a record, more than 100 days, I think. It never happened so long. The Belgians are still ahead of us at over 500 days, so, and we beat the Swedes, so we're very pleased about that in terms of number of days. But in more seriousness, we have 7 parties elected into parliament. And it simply took time to find a common ground. But taking the time, we have found a good common ground. I'm heading a coalition that has 5 parties. But although there are 5 parties, there are not 5 radically different views. And I've been able to fuse together these 5 parties around a common platform. And I think that you may find, to your perhaps surprise, that it could be quite a stable government. So we're on a very stable, unchanged geopolitical course, unchanged attitude towards our neighbors and friends, and we are not a revolutionary type of government, but an evolutionary type of government. We are looking to improve, step by step, life for ordinary Latvians. I think the same as Jüri's government is also doing in Estonia. We want to make life better. When we think back 28 years ago, it's day and night. So we have all come a very long way, and our country has simply gone through what many European countries have been going through, a change in politics. So half of my cabinet are new politicians. They're much younger than I am, so we have lots of dynamism, and we have enough experience to have a very good balance between the two.
Excellent. 3 important questions. questions about the alcohol, IKEA and
Yes.
situation of Latvia. Thank you.
pressikonverents on lõppenud, suur tänu kõigile!
Thank you all for coming. This is the end of the press conference.